Hello there and welcome to the Freelance Thrive Podcast's ninth season summary. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at 9am.works, the tool that helps independent professionals find the best deals on the market and convert more. And today I'll share with you 10 things you can learn from 10 podcast guests in less than 10 minutes. So let's go. As a freelancer, you can choose which projects to work on. And here is how Gabriela Jan proposes to do that.
Every time when I do take on a freelance client on a project, firstly, it needs to be something that I will be able to learn something new from and be able to gain new skills. That is the number one priority. And secondly, it's got to be a project that I really love and I'm very passionate about. I need to be motivated and to be driven by doing the things that I love and I think really brings value to me as a person.
However, to find them, you must work. And here is a piece of encouragement for you from Faith Rivera.
If you just speak that out into the universe and say, okay, I'm going to grow my business to 6 figures, my next question is going to be, well, how are you going to do that? What actionable, tangible steps are you going to take to get there and start planning out the different pieces? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Like if you already had the steps and pieces in place to get to 6 figures, you would have already been there by now. But if you don't change what you're doing and really take those actionable steps that will get you to where you need to go, then your outcomes aren't going to change.
And here is a little bit more from Brian Gallagher.
If you are overthinking something, just take one idea and just run with it and start doing it. You learn so much more by doing than you learn by planning and trying to think through what people are going to want or what you can actually do. Just go do it. Go learn how to do it.
Still, while you're working on different projects, you get to know what works and what doesn't. And here is how Elaine Pofeld proposes to use this knowledge with clients.
If a client is asking me to do something, for instance, that is not in their best interest, I try to be diplomatic and respect their feelings and understand that they're in the same situation I would be if I was hiring a contractor to build a house. I don't really know all that they know. I know I want a house that looks this way, but I don't really know the process to get there. So I might suggest things or ask things, but ultimately I'm relying on them to guide me and to do it with integrity, not to let me push them into doing it in a way that ultimately will cause the house to fall down.
And when you are negotiating, every time you use the word but, clients might get defensive. So here's a technique from Jeremy Coffey to deal with it.
If you begin with yes, then people are more likely to pay attention to whatever comes next. Whereas if you begin with no, they start to think about their response as to why it should be yes. For instance, if you said, can I get an enhanced project timeline for 6 months after this implementation that you've led, which would be, say, out of scope? I'd say, yes, and what role do you think I'll be playing in that next 6-month timeline? And how detailed do you need that to be? Because I can. They know I can. That's why they're coming to ask me. So saying no would be damaging my professional credibility. However, just saying yes ends the conversation in a way that cheapens the value that I'm bringing to the table.
By doing that, you are giving great gifts to your clients. And here is what gift you can give yourself from Nicolene Hujinga.
Find your human design profile, get your human design chart, learn about your energy type, about your strategy, and about your authority. I would say those are the biggest gifts you can give yourself. And that's not like something you can just do overnight, but understanding how you are wired is definitely going to change your life.
And even when you know your strengths, clients still want to see how you can help them. So here's a tip from Kaya Stolbeck to improve your CV.
They do definitely need a CV because it's like your business card, which you present yourself with. And in freelance business, clients especially, they look closely to your hard skills because soft skills is more for employments or very high level positions, of course. But for freelancers that are supposed to get into the project and get started right away, we need to have hard skills, which the client is really taking a look at in your CV.
Also, you can make your CV in video format. Surprised? Here is how Oliver Gurman showcases his skills to get clients.
In an ideal world, you have an idea of what your ideal client looks like, and then you're making a video on YouTube to attract that very person. So if you manage that, even if it doesn't have a lot of clicks, it might just be 200 clicks. If 20 of the people that clicked on the video would send you a message, that would be a great result. You can find your niche, and in that niche, you can find a certain audience, and that certain audience might give contracts to your company, which in my case is how we're using YouTube.
And when you are creating video, no need to overthink. Here's what Norman Schutt has for you.
How do I choose topics? It's more like whatever comes to my mind, and I try to think about how does this have a purpose for my audience? How does it fit into my brand message and these kind of things?
And yes, the road to get clients sometimes might be hard, but remember to celebrate yourself. And here's a reminder for you from Adrian Ashton.
Look back over your life and remember all of those awful, dark days that you went through, and somehow you got through them. If you're listening to this podcast, I want to congratulate you as a listener because you have survived 100% of all the worst days of your life so far. And you've done that. You've achieved it. Congratulate yourself. And we forget that. We forget how incredible we are, how resilient we have been in the past.
And just like that, these were 10 things you can learn from 10 freelancers in less than 10 minutes. And what have you learned? Share it in the comments here on LinkedIn or whenever. Let's connect. If you learned something new, share this episode with your friend. And check out 9am.works to get and convert more projects. That's it. I'm done. See you in the next episode.